The pricing method involving a set fee per outlet plus a set fee per service is common in the construction industry for electrical work. When contractors quote a price this way, equipment costs are typically not included in the flat rate. The flat rate generally only covers the labor costs for rough-in, which includes the installation of electrical wires and devices, and trim-out, which is the installation of covers and faceplates. The varying rates for different types of outlets and services reflect the different labor requirements and material costs associated with each type. For example, a switch may require less labor to install than a general receptacle, so it is often quoted at a lower rate. Advantages of this type of system include simplifying quoting and pricing, allowing contractors to maintain a consistent profit margin, and can be competitive when the contractor has a high volume of similar work. Disadvantages of this type of system may not account for the actual equipment costs, which can be less transparent for customers, as they may not understand what is included in the price, and may not be suitable for projects with unique or complex requirements. The traditional pricing method, which includes time, equipment, permits, and profit, provides a more detailed and accurate estimate of the total cost of the project. However, it can be more time-consuming and requires more detailed planning. This pricing method can be a reasonable approach for straightforward electrical work where the equipment costs are relatively consistent. However, it is important to clearly communicate to customers what is included in the flat rate to avoid any misunderstandings. Ultimately, the best pricing method for any project should be chosen based on the specific circumstances and the contractor's expertise. In summary, firstly, understand the scope of work. Clearly define the scope of the electrical work to be performed. This includes the number and type of outlets, switches, fixtures, and other electrical devices to be installed. Secondly, estimate the labor costs. Determine the amount of time required to complete the electrical work. Consider factors such as the complexity of the installation, the experience of the electrician, and any potential delays. Thirdly, calculate the material costs. Identify all the materials needed for the electrical work, such as wiring, conduit, boxes, outlets, switches, and fixtures. Obtain accurate pricing for these materials from suppliers. Fourthly, factor in overhead costs. Overhead costs include expenses such as insurance, licenses, vehicle maintenance, and office supplies. Allocate a portion of these costs to each project based on a percentage of labor or material costs. Fifthly, add in profit margin. Determine the desired profit margin for the project. This should be a percentage of the total costs, including labor, materials, and overhead. Sixthly, consider local market conditions. Research the prevailing rates for electrical work in the area. Adjust pricing to remain competitive while still ensuring profitability. Seventhly, provide a detailed quote. Present a clear and comprehensive quote to the customer, outlining the scope of work, labor costs, material costs, overhead costs, profit margin, and total price. Eighthly, be transparent and communicative. Maintain open communication with the customer throughout the project. Address any questions or concerns promptly and professionally. Ninthly, document everything. Keep detailed records of all labor, materials, and expenses related to the project. This will help track profitability and identify areas for improvement. Tenthly, evaluate and adjust. Regularly evaluate pricing strategies and make adjustments as needed based on market conditions, project complexity, and profitability. Here's an additional breakdown. When pricing electrical work, the term outlet typically refers to any point in the electrical system where electricity is drawn for utilization. This includes receptacles commonly known as outlets, switches, lighting fixtures, and any other device that connects to the electrical wiring. Pricing per outlet is a simplified method where a contractor charges a fixed rate for each of these connection points. Here's a detailed look at what this entails. Firstly, receptacles. These are the standard electrical outlets where you plug in appliances and devices. The pricing per receptacle usually covers the cost of the receptacle itself, the electrical box, wiring, and the labor to install it. Secondly, switches. Switches control lighting fixtures and other devices. The pricing per switch covers the cost of the switch, the electrical box, wiring, and the labor to install it. Three-way and four-way switches, which require more complex wiring, may be priced higher. Thirdly, lighting fixtures. Lighting fixtures include ceiling lights, wall sconces, chandeliers, and other types of lights. The pricing per fixture covers the cost of the fixture, the mounting hardware, wiring, and the labor to install it. More complex fixtures may be priced higher due to the increased labor required for installation. Fourthly, appliance outlets. These are outlets specifically designed for appliances such as refrigerators, ovens, and washing machines. They may require dedicated circuits and heavier gauge wiring. The pricing per appliance outlet covers the cost of the receptacle, the electrical box, wiring, circuit breaker, and the labor to install it. Fifthly, data and communication outlets. These include outlets for telephone, cable television, and data networks. The pricing per data or communication outlet covers the cost of the outlet, the electrical box, wiring, and the labor to install it. The type of wiring used, such as coaxial cable or Cat6 cable, can affect the pricing. Sixthly, special purpose outlets. These are outlets for specific equipment such as electric vehicle chargers, generators, or welders. They may require specialized wiring and equipment. The pricing per special purpose outlet covers the cost of the receptacle, the electrical box, wiring, circuit breaker, and the labor to install it. Firstly, material costs. This includes the cost of the receptacle, switch, or fixture itself, as well as the cost of the electrical box, wiring, connectors, and other materials needed for the installation. Secondly, labor costs. This includes the cost of the electrician's time to install the outlet, including the time spent wiring, mounting, and testing the connection. Thirdly, overhead costs. This includes the contractor's expenses such as insurance, vehicle maintenance, and office supplies. A portion of these costs is typically allocated to each project. Fourthly, profit margin. This is the percentage of the total cost that the contractor adds to cover their profit. The profit margin is typically a percentage of the total costs, including materials, labor, and overhead. Advantages of pricing per outlet include simplicity. Pricing per outlet is a simple and straightforward method that is easy to understand and communicate to customers. Predictability. It allows contractors to quickly estimate the cost of a project based on the number of outlets to be installed. Consistency. It helps contractors maintain a consistent profit margin on similar projects. Disadvantages of pricing per outlet include lack of transparency. Customers may not understand what is included in the price and may not be able to compare prices from different contractors. Inaccuracy. It may not accurately reflect the actual cost of the project, especially if there are variations in the complexity of the installation. Potential for overcharging. Contractors may be tempted to overcharge for simple installations or to cut corners to save on costs. Pricing per outlet can be an effective method for pricing electrical work, especially for straightforward installations. However, it is important to be transparent with customers about what is included in the price and to ensure that the pricing accurately reflects the cost of the project. Contractors should also consider the potential disadvantages of this method and be prepared to adjust their pricing as needed to ensure fairness and profitability. When using a flat-rate pricing model for electrical work, several factors influence the rate. Understanding these factors helps in setting competitive and profitable prices. Firstly, the type of outlet influences the rate. Standard receptacles are usually priced low due to their simplicity and commonality. Specialty outlets like those for appliances or dedicated circuits are priced higher due to increased material and labor. Secondly, the complexity of installation influences the rate. Easily accessible locations are priced lower compared to difficult-to-reach areas or those requiring extensive modifications. Installations requiring additional work, such as running new circuits or upgrading panels, increase the flat rate. Thirdly, material costs have an effect. The quality and type of materials used affect the flat rate. Higher grade materials or specific brands increase the overall cost. Fluctuations in material prices also necessitate adjustments to the flat rate. Fourthly, labor costs are factored in. The electrician's hourly rate, experience level, and the time required for installation influence the flat rate. Projects requiring multiple electricians or specialized skills increase labor costs. Fifthly, overhead expenses are considered. Business expenses like insurance, vehicle maintenance, and office supplies are factored into the flat rate. These costs are distributed across all projects to ensure profitability. Sixthly, profit margin is a consideration. The desired profit margin influences the flat rate. Contractors adjust their rates to achieve a balance between competitiveness and profitability. Seventhly, regional market conditions are a factor. Local market rates and competition influence the flat rate. Researching prevailing rates in the area helps in setting competitive prices. Eighthly, code compliance and permits are included. Ensuring installations meet local electrical codes and obtaining necessary permits affect the flat rate. The costs associated with inspections and compliance are factored into the pricing. Ninthly, warranty and liability also plays a role. Offering warranties on workmanship and materials influences the flat rate. Contractors include costs associated with potential callbacks and liabilities. Tenthly, project volume and bundling is a factor. Offering discounts for larger projects or bundling services can influence the flat rate. Contractors may lower individual rates for increased project volume. In conclusion, a comprehensive understanding of these factors enables contractors to set flat rates that are both competitive and profitable while ensuring quality and compliance. The flat rate electrical pricing model is influenced by a variety of factors, each contributing to the final cost. When setting a flat rate, it's essential to consider these elements to ensure fair and accurate pricing.